walking soft across the kitchen floor, afraid to wake the ghost of us once more. You left yours leaning by the door, and a silence louder than the world before. I try to breathe, but the air feels thin, like the walls are slowly caving in. 'Cause we're just brittle glass hearts in a heavy-handed world, trying to hold a shape while the edges start to curl. One wrong word, one look, one jagged line, and I'm picking up the pieces of what used to be mine. Beautiful and clear but never meant to last, just another fracture in our brittle glass. Just another fracture in our brittle glass. I see my reflection in the window pane, a tired map of everywhere we felt the rain. You promised forever was a solid thing, not a hollow echo or a broken ring. Now I'm sweeping up the sparks of who we were. Everything is sharp, everything's a blur. 'Cause we're just brittle glass hearts in a heavy-handed world, trying to hold a shape while the edges start to curl. One wrong word, one look, one jagged line, and I'm picking up the pieces of what used to be mine. Beautiful and clear but never meant to last, just another fracture in our brittle glass. Just another fracture in our brittle glass. You can glue the shards, you can try to hide the seam, but you can't fix the light in a broken dream. Once it cracks, the clarity is gone, and you're left shivering until the dawn. 'Cause we're just brittle glass hearts in a heavy-handed world, trying to hold a shape while the edges start to curl. One wrong word, one look, one jagged line, and I'm picking up the pieces of what used to be mine. Beautiful and clear but never meant to last, just another fracture in a brittle glass. Handle with care, that's what the label said, but we threw it all away instead. Careful where you step. I found the letter tucked inside the drawer, behind the life we don't live anymore. The ink is pale, a ghost of midnight blue, writing promises I thought we'd both see through. Your handwriting was steady, bold and brave. Now it looks like ripples on a lonely wave. Now they're just faded paper vows in a shoebox under the bed. The weight of every word we meant, now better left unsaid. But the paper's turning yellow, and the edges are wearing thin. How did it always lose its color? How did it ever drift away, leaving nothing but these faded vows to crumble in the gray? The creases show how many times I've read the lies that felt like gospel in my head. You swore the sun would never set on us, but gold is just a metal that's prone to rust. Now the I love you is a smudge upon the page, a bird that died inside a paper cage. If I held it to a candle, would the fire feel the same, or would we with a familiar name? It's paper thin, this history we hold in a hollow hand, a kingdom built on ink upon the shifting sand, fading, faded. I'm shouting your name into the hallway light, but it just hits the ceiling and dies in the night. The coffee is cold and the bed is still made, like a stage where the actors have all gone to fade. I'm waiting for footsteps that never arrive, just trying to keep this ghost story alive. Now I'm living in these silent echo chambers of my mind, searching for a version of us I'll never find. Every I love you is bouncing off then the stone, coming back to tell me that I'm standing here alone. It's a hollow sound, a heavy kind of blue in this empty space that's still shaped like you. I remember the laughter that filled up the halls. Now it's just peeling paint on the library walls. I talk to the air just to hear my own breath, a conversation dancing with a slow, quiet death. If I scream out I'm sorry till my throat starts to bleed, does it reach you at all? Is it something you need? Now I'm living in these silent echo chambers of my mind, searching for a version of us I'll never find. Every I love you is bouncing off then the stone, coming back to tell me that I'm standing here alone. It's a hollow sound, a heavy kind of blue in this empty space that's still shaped like you. Silence is a predator, it's hungry and it's deep. It steals all the secrets that I wanted to keep. If a heart breaks in a vacuum, does it make a sound, or does it just shatter on the cold hard ground? Now I'm living in these silent echo chambers of my mind, searching for a version of us I'll never find. Every I love you is bouncing off then the stone, coming back to tell me that I'm standing here alone. It's a hollow sound, a heavy kind of blue in this empty space that's still shaped like you. Just an echo of a life we used. Is anyone listening, or did you finally let go? Let go. I'm staring at the spot where the bookshelf used to stand, just a pale square of wall, a like ghost upon the land. The floorboards are groaning under the weight of the air. I keep turning my head, thinking I'll see you there, but the curtains don't flutter, the dust doesn't dance. We're just a finished book, a ghost of a chance. And now it's just hollow room sighs and the ticking of the clock, the sound of a key that won't turn in the lock. I'm breathing emptiness you left in your wake, counting every single heartstring that was meant to break. It's a low, lonely whistle through the cracks in the door. In this hollow room, I don't know who I am anymore. The kitchen is a desert, the hallway is a cave. I'm walking through a house that feels more like a grave. I whisper, don't go, to the shadows on the wall, but the shadows don't answer, they just watch me fall. Your scent is a memory that's starting to thin, like the paint on the ceiling, or the state I am in. And now it's just hollow room sighs and the ticking of the clock, the sound of a key that won't turn in the lock. I'm breathing emptiness you left in your wake, drown out the person I've slowly become? Or is the silence a mirror too honest to lie, reflecting the moment we said our goodbye? And now it's just hollow room sighs and the ticking of the clock, the sound of a key that won't turn in the lock. I'm breathing emptiness you left in your wake, counting every single heartstring that was meant to break. It's a low, lonely whistle through the cracks in the door. In this hollow room, I don't know who I am anymore. Just a sigh in the corner of the dark, waiting for a fire from a cold, dead spark. Hollow, so hollow. I'm standing on the shoreline of the life we used to lead, watching every promise start to scatter like a weed. I reach out for your hand, but I only catch the mist, like a ghost of a sweater or a cheek that's never kissed. The map we drew together has been soaked by the rain, and the ink is just a river running down into the drain. Now we've drifted far apart on a cold and rising tide, with the notion of the things that we buried deep inside. I can see your signal flickering, a light across the blue, but there's 1,000 miles of water between me and you. We're just two lonely vessels in the dark and the vast, watching the horizon swallow up our past. The silence is a current that is pulling at my feet, and the air is getting colder every time our glances meet. We're speaking the same language, but the meaning's washed away, like a sandcastle crumbling at the ending of the day. I try to roll back shoreward, but the wind is far too strong, and I've forgotten the lyrics to our favorite song. Now we've drifted far apart on a cold and rising tide, with the notion of the things that we buried deep inside. I can see your signal flickering, a light across the blue, but there's 1,000 miles of water between me and you. We're just two lonely vessels in the dark and the vast, watching the horizon swallow up our past. Was it a slow leak or a sudden crashing wave that turned our sanctuary into a watery grave? Now the anchors are broken and the compass is spinning, and I'm losing the heart that I thought I was winning, and I'm losing the heart that I thought I was winning. Now we've drifted far apart on a cold and rising tide, with the notion of the things that we buried deep inside. I can see your signal flickering, a light across the blue, but there's 1,000 miles of water between me and you. We're just two lonely vessels in the dark and the vast, watching the horizon swallow up our past. Just a speck on the water, just a blur in the gray, further and further every single day, slowly drifting, drifted. We used to move in a perfect synchronized line. Your heartbeat was an echo, a mirror to mine. There was an invisible thread, shimmering and bright, that pulled me through the shadows and into your light bite. But I felt the snap like a wire in the cold, a story unfinished, a secret untold. Now I'm dancing alone with these silver strings, feeling the weight of the silence it brings. We were tied at the soul, or so I believed, but the line has gone slack and I've been deceived. Just a tangle of metal, a frame design of the life that was yours and the life that was mine. I'm reaching for that used to be there. But my fingers just close on the freezing night air. You're walking away with your end of the rope, dragging the remnants of all of our hope, and the shine is all tarnished, it's turning to rust, like a promise we made that's been ground into dust. Now I'm dancing alone with these severed strings, feeling the weight of the silence it brings. We were tied at the soul, or so I believed, but the line has gone slack, and I've been deceived. Just a tangle of metal, a fraying design of the life that was yours, and the life that was mine. They say that what's broken can always be tied, but there's too much distance and nowhere to hide. The knot would be heavy, the knot would be scarred, and breathing without you is already so hard. Now I'm dancing alone with these severed strings, feeling the weight of the silence it brings. We were tied at the soul, or so I believed, of the life that was yours, and the life that was mine. Let it fall to the floor, let the shimmer go dim. I'm losing the ghost of the her and the him, slowly severed, cut clean, silence. I'm rereading the margins of the books that we shared, looking for the us that I thought was still there. The words are all printed, so steady and black, so steady and black, but they don't tell the story of not coming back. I'm searching for meaning in the space that stays white, in the silence that falls at the end of the night. Now we're just lost between lines of a story we're leaving, a chapter of dreaming and a chapter of grieving. I'm looking for clues in the commas and stops, while the ink on the page slowly smudges and drops. The ending was written, but I couldn't see that the hero was leaving and the victim was me. You used to write notes in the crook of my arm, a language of touch that could keep us from harm. But the script has gone shaky, the pen has run dry, and hello looks exactly like I'm flipping the pages like this is goodbye. I'm flipping the pages, I'm chasing the plot, but I'm stuck in a sentence that you just forgot. Now we're just lost between lines of a story we're leaving, a chapter of dreaming and a chapter of grieving. I'm looking for clues in the commas and stops, while the ink on the page slowly smudges and drops. The ending was written, but I couldn't see that the hero was leaving and the victim was me. If I could rewrite it, would I change the tone, or would I just stand up here reading alone? The subtext is heavy, the metaphors bleed. You're the only person I still wanna read. Close the cover, put it back on the shelf, put a Peric on the shelf. Just a ghost of myself between the lines, where the light never shines. The end. The tea has gone, stowed sitting on the wood. We're sitting closer than we probably should, but there's a canyon between us, a mile secrets in the floorboards that we're trying to keep. We're trying to keep, that we're trying to keep. I'm watching your eyes, avoid every glance, like we're both just waiting for the very last dance. And we're shivering under these cold unspoken truths. The frost on the windows, the rust on our youth. We're breathing out winter, but we're calling it spring, while we choke on the weight of a gold-plated ring. It's the elephant screaming, the ghost in the hall. The truth is we're breaking, but we won't let it fall. I wanna ask, where did the fire go out? But I'm terrified of what you'll tell me about. So I talk of the weather and the news on the screen, while the space in between us turns jagged and mean. You're nodding your head to a rhythm that's gone. Just two tired actors waiting for dawn. If I say it out loud, does the house come down? Do we sink in the silence? Do we finally drown? The truth is a blade that's been sharpened by time, and keeping it hidden is our only crime. And we're shivering under these cold unspoken truths. The frost on the windows, the rust on our youth. We're breathing out winter, but we're calling it spring, while we choke on the weight of a gold-plated ring. It's the elephant screaming, the ghost in the hall. The truth is we're breaking, but we won't let it fall. So stay quiet. Don't let the ice break. How much more of this can a hollow heart take? The truth is cold, and we're getting old. I'm sitting in the passenger seat of this ghost of a car, watching the streetlights go by like a dying star. You're staring straight at the white lines on the road, carrying the weight of an unshared load. The radio's off, but the noise is so loud, like we're driving through the center of a thundercloud. And there are miles of silence stretching out ahead, 1,000 things alive that we're treating like they're dead. I could reach across console of touches, I could touch your sleeve, but there's a border between us that won't let me leave. Just the hum of the tires on the cold asphalt, and miles of silence that are nobody's fault. The map on the dashboard is folded all wrong, just like the places where we used to belong. We're passing the diners and the neon signs, but we're trapped in space between the highway lines. I wanna ask where we going tonight, but I'm scared that the answer isn't into the light. Every exit we pass is a chance we didn't take. Every bridge that we cross is a bond we might break. If I screamed I still love you at the top of my lungs, would it just be a language that we no longer tongue? And there are miles of silence stretching out ahead, 1,000 things alive that we're treating like the dead. I could reach across console a road that leads to the sea. 1 mile, 2 miles, 10. Will we ever find our way back again? I'm sitting by the hearth where the heat used to be, watching the shadows play tricks on me. We used to be a bonfire, a wild roaring light that could burn through the frost of the coldest night. But the logs have all crumbled to a powdery gray, and I'm blowing on the ashes to make the cold stay away. Now it's just a dying ember glow in the center of the room, a tiny spark fighting the encroaching gloom. I'm warming my hands on a memory that's thin, trying to find where the ending begins. It's not a sudden crash or a thunderous sound, just a slow, quiet sinking into the ground. Beautiful and orange, but losing the fight in the dying ember glow of our last night. You're leaning the doorway, half hidden by the dark, looking for a flame, but you won't find a spark. We've run out of fuel, we've run out of breath. This kind of silence feels like a slow motion death. I wanna throw more wood, I wanna make it climb, but we've used up our luck and we've used up our time. Smoke is filling up the corners of my lungs, a bitter taste of truth on our silent tongues. If I let it go out, do we disappear too? Into the suit and the dark in the shade of the blue. Now it's just a dying ember glow in the center of the room, a tiny spark fighting the encroaching gloom. I'm warming my hands on a memory that's thin, trying to find where the ending begins. It's not a sudden crash or a thunderous sound, just a slow, quiet sinking into the ground. Beautiful and orange, but losing the fight in the dying ember glow of our last night. One last flicker, then the black takes hold. The hearth is empty and the room is cold. Whispered, going, gone. I'm standing in the hallway where we used to collide, but the air is so still, there's nowhere to hide. I check the coat rack for the jacket you wore, but there's only a hook and a draft from the door. The coffee rings on the table have all been wiped clean, like a photo of us that was never even seen. Now it's just a vanished trace of yesterday in a world moving on. The map of our kingdom is completely withdrawn. Something to hold, something to hug, but the wind blew too hard and the rain washed it through, leaving not even a shadow of me and you. The neighbor asked about you, I didn't know what to say, so I just looked at the ground and I walked away. The garden we planted is overgrown with weeds, and the birds are all fighting for the leftover seeds. It's like you were a dream I had in the deep of the night, and I woke up to a room that's too clinical and bright. Did we ever exist? Were we ever this real? Or was it just a trick of the way that I feel? Because the silence is perfect, the silence is deep, and there's not a single promise left for me to keep. Now it's just a vanished trace of yesterday in a world moving on. I'm looking for a footprint, a hair on the rug, something to hold, something to hug. But the wind blew too hard and the rain washed it through, leaving not even a shadow of me and you. Nothing on the glass, nothing on the floor, just a wide open space where you stood before. Vanished trace yesterday. I'm standing on the bridge where we used to watch the flow, but the water's moving faster than I ever thought could go. I'm holding on to memories like anchors in my hands, watching all our always turn to shifting river sands, while I'm weighing up the gravity of everything you said. Now we're just sinking heavy stones in a river wide and deep, with a lifetime of the promises we couldn't afford to keep. The more I try to swim, the more I pull us down in the middle of the us where we're both about to drown. No matter how I struggle, no matter how I fight, the sinking heavies are dragging out the light. Your silence is a boulder sitting right upon my chest, and I'm tired of the searching, and I'm tired of the quest. We used to be the surface, we used to be the spray. Now we're just the debris that the current sweeps away. I can see you've what we've broken is more than we can bear. If I let go of the burden, would I float back to the top? Or have I become the stone? Does the falling ever stop? It's a long way to the bottom, it's a quiet way to go, in the pressure of the secrets that we both already know. Now we're just sinking heavy stones in a river wide and deep, with a lifetime of the promises we couldn't afford to keep. The more I try to swim, the more I pull us down in the middle of the us where we're both about to drown. No matter how I struggle, no matter how I fight, the sinking heavies are dragging out the light, going down into the cold. The stone is old, sinking, sinking. I'm looking at the tree where we carved our mark, the jagged little letters in the middle of the bark. But the wood has grown around us, the ridge is turning thick, like a scab over a wound or a clever little trick. I can't find them. The forest is reclaiming what we gave to them. Now we're just erasing names on a page in the rain, a smudge of who we were and a blur of all old postcards we sent from the coast. The wish you were here is the thing that hurts the most, because the sun has bleached the blue and the salt has eaten through, and I can't quite remember the me that was with you. It's a clean slate now, a terrifying white, like a blinding winter morning after a long and heavy night. If there's nothing left to read, did we ever speak at all? Or were we just a whisper echoed off a canyon wall? I'm holding up the paper to the emptiness is winning, and it's putting up a fight. Now we're just erasing names on a page in the rain, a smudge of who we were and a blur of all the pain. I'm scrubbing at the surface, I'm trying to find the line, but the paper's turning pulp and the year's no longer mine. A signature of ghost, a script that wouldn't stay, just erasing names that the world has washed away. Blank space, where the heart used to be. Story rewritten to make it complete. Slowly erased, gone, just white. I'm standing on the ridge where the day begins to fail, watching the gold turn to rust and the light turn pale. The clouds are hanging heavy like a curtain made of lead, reminding me of every single word we never said. I used to love the evening, the way it tucked us in, but now it's just the hour where the hauntings all begin. And it's a bleeding sunset sky over a broken heart, tearing the horizon and the world of us apart. The red is like a memory that refused to go gray, the beautiful disaster of a dying kind of day. I'm reaching for the warmth, but the colors only cry in the shadow of a bleeding sunset sky. The shadows stretching out like fingers on the grass, trying to hold on to the moments that we let pass. You were my sun, the only light I ever knew, but the earth kept on spinning and it spun me away from you. Now the purple's getting bruised and the orange is a wound, and I'm singing to a melody that's hopelessly out of tune. And it's a bleeding sunset sky over a broken heart, tearing the horizon and the world of us apart. The red is like a memory that refused to go gray, the beautiful disaster of a dying kind of day. I'm reaching for the warmth, but the colors only cry in the shadow of a bleeding sunset sky. If the night is coming, let it come on fast and deep. I'm tired of the beauty that I'm not allowed to keep, because the glow is just a lie, a flicker in the dark, a final desperate gasp of a cold and dying spark. And it's a bleeding sunset sky over a broken heart, tearing the horizon and the world of us apart. The red is like a memory that refused to go gray, the beautiful disaster of a dying kind of day. I'm reaching for the warmth, but the colors only cry in the shadow of a bleeding sunset sky. Let the darkness fall, let the colors bleed out. I'm learning what the after's about, bleeding, fading, gone. I found the rose you left inside the glass, watching the seasons and the ghost of us pass. It's bowed its head in a crown of brittle brown, like a king of a kingdom that's finally fallen down. The water's turned to salt and the light is getting thin, and I can't remember where your touch used to begin. Now it's just a withered winter bloom in a frozen empty room, a petal thin reminder of a slow and quiet doom. We were meant for the garden, for the heat and for the sun, but the frost crept in before we'd even begun, and the colors all bled out and the scent is gone to gray in this withered winter bloom that I can't throw away. I try to breathe some life into the cracks upon the stem, but the roots are just shadows and I'm losing hold of them. The windows etched in ice, a jagged silver screen, hiding all the better days that we have ever seen. Your summer memory in a January chill, and the heart inside this house is standing perfectly still. If I let the petals fall, do I let you go as well? Or am I just a prisoner in this dry and floral shell? Like the way you looked at me before you turned away. Now it's just a withered winter bloom in a frozen empty room, a petal thin reminder of a slow and quiet doom. We were meant for the garden, for the heat and for the sun, but the frost crept in before we'd even begun, and the colors all bled out and the scent is gone to gray in this withered winter bloom that I can't throw away. Dust on the velvet, ice on the floor. I'm not waiting for the spring anymore. Withered, withered, withered. I'm standing where the bonfire used to burn so high, watching the last of the orange bleed out of the sky. We were a mountain of wood and a reckless golden flame, but now there's no heat left to whisper your name. The ground is just black and the air is just cold, and I'm holding a handful of what we can't hold. Now we're just ash upon the wind, scattering away, a grayscale memory of a bright and burning day. I'm reaching for the smoke, but it slips between my hands like a ghost in the trees or the shifting of the sands. One final shiver, one breath, and you're gone. In the ash upon the wind at the breaking of the dawn. The neighbors are closing their windows to the grid. They don't want to see how the fire was lit, or how it went out in a hiss and a sigh, leaving nothing but soot. Leaving nothing but soot in the corner of my eye. I'm sweeping the porch, but the dust just returns, a heavy reminder of everything that burns. If I followed the trail, would it lead me to you? Or is the sky just too big and the world just too blue? We're weightless and broken, we're silent and light, tossed like a secret into the mouth of the night. Now we're just ash upon the wind, scattering away, a grayscale memory of a bright and burning day. I'm reaching for the smoke, but it slips let it begin to fade. Silence. I'm watching the clock hands crawl across the wall, while the moonlight is tracing your ghost in the hall. You're sleeping so deeply, a world far from mine. But I'm counting the minutes, I'm reading the line. Your suitcase is waiting, a shadow by the chair, and the weight of the goodbye is thick in the air. And I wake up to a pillow that's cold to the touch, to the silence of loving you a little too much, like a dream that dissolves at the first hint of light. You're slipping away through the cracks of the night. The coffee will brew, but the sun won't be dawning, because you'll be gone before morning. I wanna reach out and just anchor your hand, but we're both made of water, and we're both made of sand. The promises we whispered are turning to mist, and I'm grieving the forehead that hasn't been kissed. It's a quiet departure, no slamming of doors, just the end of the mine and the start of the yours. The stars are all dimming, the sky's turning blue, and every heartbeat is a countdown to you. If I could stop the rotation, if I could hold back the tide, I'd keep the dark forever with you by my side. But I'll wake up to a pillow that's cold to the touch, to the silence of loving you a little too much, like a dream that dissolves at the first hint of light. You're slipping away through the cracks of the night. The coffee will brew, but the sun won't be dawning, because you'll be gone before morning. The birds are starting to sing, but it sounds like a funeral bell. I'm saying goodbye before I even have a story to tell. Gone before the morning, before I wake up, fade out. I'm standing in the hallway where the light used to hit, in the exact same spot where you used to sit. The sun is still streaming through the window pane, but the warmth on the floorboards of where you would be, in a house that feels way too big for just me. Now I'm just walking through the shadow left behind of a love that was vivid and a heart that was kind. It's a silhouette of always on a wall, goodbye, a dark, quiet shape that received that I can't step around it, I can't sweep it away. It's the shadow of you that's decided to stay. Your coat isn't hanging, your shoes aren't there, but I still feel your presence in the chill of the air. I'm talking to corners, I'm arguing with ghosts, grieving the version of us I love most. It's a trick of the vision, a glitch in the side. How can something so empty be heavy as night? If I turn off the lamps, does the shadow depart, or is it burned on the back of my eyelids and heart? You're the negative space in every new room, a beautiful haunting, a familiar gloom. I'm staring at the ceiling where the lightning used to flash. Now it's just a ceiling made of charcoal and of ash. I can hear the distant rumble of the things we didn't say, rolling through the hallway. I tried to keep us dry, but the rain is falling inward from a dark and crowded sky. And I'm trapped inside this storm cloud mind again, counting every drop of the might have been. The thunder is a heartbeat that's lost way, echoing the sight. It's a blur of the vision, a flood in the chest. In the storm cloud, there's no place to rest. Your memory is a strike that's illuminating the room, then leaving me in silence and a deeper kind of gloom. I'm walking through the puddles of a love that's overflowed, watching all our always wash right off the road. There's no silver lining, no breaking the haze, just a long, cold winter of these overcast days. If the wind would just blow, if the sky would just clear, maybe I could see the way out of here. But the pressure is rising, the barometric soul is losing its balance, is losing its balance, is losing control. And I'm trapped inside this storm cloud mind again, counting every drop of the might have been. The thunder is a heartbeat that's lost way, echoing the sight. It's a blur of a vision, a flood in the chest. In the storm cloud, there's no place to rest. Just a drizzle now in the back of my head. The storm isn't over, it's just resting instead. Gray on gray, wash it all away. Drip, drip, silence. I'm trying to sit up, but the mattress is a tide, pulling me back to the place where we died. There's a ghost on the pillow, a dent in the sheet, and a coldness that starts at the soles of my feet. I thought I could carry the weight of the end, but the steel in my spirit has started to bend. And I'm walking around with this heavy lead chest, a heart that's forgotten how it's supposed to rest. It's a dull, aching anchor that's pulling me deep. Through the hours I'm waking and the secrets I keep, every breath is a struggle, every word is a stone in this heavy lead chest that I carry alone. The doctor says grief, but it feels more like ore, like a mountain that's moved through the crack in the door. I see your new life in the glow of a screen, while I'm sinking beneath all the things that we've been. I'd cut it all out if I thought I'd survive, but it's the only thing left that still feels alive. Is it solid? Is it hollow? Is it just made of no? Is it stay that I said when you wanted to go? It's a gravity well that is swallowing light. slowly, heavy, so heavy, lead. I'm sitting on the floor with my back to the wood, checking the locks like I know that I should. The world is still spinning out there on the street, but I'm counting the tiles and the soles of my feet. But I'm catted the corners, I've patted the corners and muffled the glass, waiting for this ghost of a feeling to pass. And I'm trapped in this quiet panic room of my own, with a heart that's a riot and a soul made of stone. The walls are closing in with the things you didn't say, while I'm trying to breathe all the yesterday away. It's a safe, lonely harbor, it's a silent white tomb in the middle of my quiet panic room. There's no one to call and there's nowhere to run, just a shadow of us and a race that we won. Then lost in the dark when the signal went thin. Now I'm terrified, letting the morning light in. I've turned off the ringers, I've turned off the ringers. I've pulled down the shades, watching the map of our history fade. Is it oxygen or memory that's running so low? Is it holding on tight or letting it go? The silence is screaming, it's ringing in my ears, the distilled vibration of all of my fears. And I'm trapped in this quiet panic room of my own, with a heart that's a riot and a soul made of stone. The walls are closing in with the things you didn't say, while I'm trying to breathe all the yesterday away. It's a safe, lonely harbor, it's a silent white tomb in the middle of my quiet panic room. Make a sound, don't look at the door. I don't think I can be us anymore. Slowly, quiet, panic room. I'm standing on the sidewalk, watching people pass, while the sky is a mirror made of shatterproof glass. The air is all around me, but it won't go down. I'm a mile from the ocean, yet I'm starting to drown. I reach for a breath, but I only find you in the space where the oxygen used to pull through. And I'm drowning on land in the middle of the street, with a desert of goodbyes beneath my feet. The pressure is rising, a weight on my lungs, speaking a language with salt on our tongues. I'm gasping for air in a world that's gone dry, watching us and me slowly go by. No waves in the disk, no storm in the hand, just a slow motion drowning on land. The windows are open, the curtains are wide, but there's a high tide of memory rising inside. I'm treading the water of the kitchen floor, since you took all the safety and walked out the door. Every I love you is a bubble that breaks in the deep, heavy silence that a broken heart makes. Is it the grief or the way that you left that's left me so hollow, so cold and